Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So we started discussing on chromatography. Before that, myself Dr. Anil Terdal, visiting professor in the Department of Chemistry, JSS Arts Science and Commerce College, Gokak, affiliated to Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi. So in the last previous video, we have discussed the concept of chromatography. In that, we discussed principal types of chromatography, stationary phase and mobile phase. So we have discussed all these points in the concept of chromatography. So in the today's video we will discuss the physical parameters of separation, or the factors which influence the separation of the components of mixture, and we will also discuss the brief accounts of paper chromatography. In the paper chromatography, how we can calculate RF, meaning retention factor, RF value, retention factor value. So we'll discuss all these points in this video. So first one is the factors which influences the separation of the components in a mixture. So as we have already discussed how the principle of the chromatography, so where the separation of the component mixture taking place uh, through the distribution of the components between two phases. So we will see how this separation taking place and what are the factors which are important to separate the component mixture. So the first factor is intermolecular interaction between the two phases. The two phases are mobile phase and the stationary phase. So it's very important how the intermolecular interaction which is in between mobile and stationary phase. This is the first factor which influences separation of the components of the mixture. The second one, the extent of dispersion of solute molecules over the stationary phase. So we are applying the component mixture on the stationary phase. So it's very important, the dispersion factor, the extent of dispersion is more and the separation is very easy. So that's why the extent of dispersion of the solute molecules over the stationary phase is one of the important factor where the separation of the components takes place. Third one, the polarity of the components versus the polarity of the stationary phase. As I said, the stationary phase is very important, and its properties like polarity. So how the polarity of the stationary phase is interacting with the polarity of the components of the mixture. So well, if the polarity of the stationary phase and the component mixture are similar, the retention time, the holding capacity or the retention time of the stationary phase increases because the compound or the components of the mixture interact stronger with the stationary phase. The retention time increases just due to the interaction between polar interaction between the stationary phase and the component mixture. As a result, polar compounds have long retention times on polar stationary phases and shorter retention time on non-polar compounds and the stationary phase. So this means that because of the polar interaction between the components of the mixture and the stationary phase increases the retention time, and hence this takes more time to separate the component mixture. So the fourth factor is vapor pressure. The boiling point of a compound is often related to polarity. The lower the boiling point is, the higher the vapor pressure of the compound, and shorter the retention time usually is because the compound will spend more time in a gas phase. As the boiling point is more, the components mixture are usually present in the gas phase. That is one of the main reasons why lower boiling solvents such as diethyl ether, dichloromethane are used as a solvents to dissolve the sample. So it's very important. So lower boiling solvents such as diethyl ether, dichloromethane are mostly used in the chromatographic technique to dissolve most of the samples. Why? Because they are having lower boiling points where the shorter the retention time. And the fifth point is mobile phase flow rate. As a high flow rate reduces retention time, continuous flow of this mobile phase reduces the retention time, or the holding of the component mixture on the stationary phase decreases as you increase the mobile phase flow rate. But the poor separation would be observed as well because of the past flow rate. Because of the increase in the flow rate, the poor separation would be observed as well. Like above, the components have very little time to interact with the stationary phase, and hence we can observe very poor separation between the components mixture, just being pushed through the column or the stationary phase. So the sixth factor which influences the separation of the component mixture is column temperature, if it is column chromatography. A excessive high column temperature results in very short retention time, but also in a very poor separation because all components mainly stay in the gas phase. As you increase the temperature of the stationary phase, as you increase the temperature of the column, if you consider the column chromatography, what happens, all the components mixture are goes into their gas phase, and hence we observe a very poor separation takes place. However, in order for the separation to occur, the components need to be able to interact with stationary phase. If the compounds does not interact with the stationary phase, the retention time will decrease. At the same time, the quality of the separation deteriorates or decreases because the difference in the retention times are not as pronounced anymore. The best separation are usually observed for the temperature gradients because differences in polarity and boiling points are used here. So it's very important, the polarity and the boiling points. The moment we increase the temperature of the column, or the moment we increase the temperature of the stationary phase, what happens, all the components mixture goes or partially goes to the gaseous phase. Once they goes to the gaseous phase, the partition or the distribution between the two phases is very poor, and hence this leads to the poor separation of the component mixture as we have high temperature systems. So it is very good to have temperature gradients to have a better separation of the components mixture. So these are 6 factors which influence the separation of the components mixture in general in chromatography. So the next point is paper chromatography. So we need to have a in detail study on the paper chromatography. So before going to in detail study of this paper chromatography, we will see what is the principle behind it and what are the types involved and where the applications part of the paper chromatography. The principle involved is partition chromatography, wherein the substances are distributed or the components of the mixture are distributed or partitioned between liquid phases. One phase is the water, which is held on the pores of the filter paper used, and the other is mobile phase, which moves over the paper. The compounds or the components of the mixture gets separated due to the difference in their affinity towards the stationary phase or the water, I can say, and the mobile phase or the solvents. During the movement of mobile phase, under the influence of action of pores in the paper, or I can say capillary action of the pores in the paper. So this is the principle. In this principle, the separation of the component mixture taking place between the two phases through the distribution or the partition between the two liquid phases, meaning one is the stationary phase is also liquid and other one is the mobile phase is also liquid. So here we also selected the paper as a supporting material on which first water molecules gets absorbed, and that water is acting as a stationary phase which is on the surface of the paper. And next is a solvent, we are using it for the mobile phase, which is a carrier for the constituents of the mixture, which is move upwards. So this upward movement of the solvent molecules or the components mixture upward movement is under the influence of capillary action. So we'll see that a little more details in later slides. So this is all about the principle of the paper chromatography. It's very simple. We are just distributing the component mixture in two liquid phases. One is water, which is absorbed on the surface of filter paper, and the other is liquid, that is solvent, we can say. So this makes the component mixture gets separated on the surface of the filter paper through the capillary action. So let us see how it is going to work and what do you mean by the retention factor. So here comes. So we have a paper, so which is the support of stationary phase, on which the water gets absorbed, that is stationary phase, and we have a petri dish here. In the petri dish we have solvent phase, we have a mobile phase, that is solvent. Once we spot the mixture, you can see here in the figure it is very clear. Once we part the mixture at the origin, which is just above the level of the solvent, or I can say mobile phase, you can see here this is the component mixture, or the, let's say for example, mixture of dyes here. So this is a component mixture. So once we spot this one on the surface of the paper, which contains water molecules, which is acting as a mobile stationary phase, and then the moment we put this paper which contains water into the petri dish containing solvent or the mobile phase. So we need to take care of this spotted mixture which is just above the mobile phase. So what happens after some time, the component mixture gets separated based on their polarity of the components and based on their intermolecular interaction between the stationary phase and the mobile phase. So you can see here, so here first black gets separated, and then yellow, and then red color. So these three dyes get separated before they are in a single mixture based on their interaction between the solid surface or interaction between the stationary phase and mobile phase. So this is how the paper chromatography technique works. So based on the distance which traveled by the component mixture under the influence of the capillary action, so we can easily calculate their retention factors. So what do you mean by retention factor before? So retention factor is 1, which is the distance traveled from the baseline. You can see this is the baseline, I can say traveled from the baseline by the solute, so or the constituent mixture, divided by, or it is a ratio I can say, to the distance traveled from the baseline by the solvent front. So this is the solvent front or the mobile phase, the total distance traveled by the solvent or the mobile phase from the baseline. So it's very simple. The ratio of the substance traveled by the component mixture or solute to the distance traveled by the mobile phase or solvent. It is used in the chromatographic technique to quantify the amount of retardation of the component mixture in the stationary phase relative to the mobile phase. So we can just calculate the retardation factor by using RF values. Well, you can see here, just for example, we have three dyes, one is red, one is yellow, other is black. The first we will have to calculate the distance traveled by the mobile phase. It's a total distance traveled by the mobile phase, or we can also call it as distance traveled by the solvent front. And next is distance traveled by the red dye. Let's say it is 10 centimeters traveled to upwards direction through the capillary action, and this is the distance traveled by the red dye. Let us calculate the RF value of the red dye, that is retention factor. So first is distance traveled from the baseline by solute or the red dye is 6 centimeter. So here is a 6 centimeter, and then next is distance traveled from the baseline by the solvent front or the mobile phase is 10 centimeter here. So we just need to divide 6 centimeter divided by 10 centimeter leads to get RF value, that is retention factor, which is very important quantity, very important parameter to quantify the amount of retardation of the component mixture in the stationary phase. So this is important for 2 marks question. What is retardation factor? How we will calculate the retention factor? So you can take simple example here, like 3 dyes, red, yellow and black. Based on their distance traveled, based on the distance traveled by the mobile phase, we can easily calculate the retention factor of each of the component which are being separated using paper chromatographic technique. Well, based on the way of the development of the chromatogram, paper chromatography is broadly classified into 5 types. So chromatogram meaning this one. So here first one is ascending chromatography. As the name indicates, the chromatogram ascends. Here ascending means from lower to higher or from bottom to top. Here the development of the paper occurs due to the solvent movement or the upward travel of the paper. The solvent reservoir is at the bottom. You can see here the solvent reservoir is at the bottom of the beaker. The paper tip with the sample spots, you can see here the sample spots, just dips into the solvent at the bottom of the paper, so that the spots remains well above the solid. So here the paper tip with the sample spots, paper tip with the sample spot just dip into the solvent at the bottom, so that this spot should remain well above the mobile phase of the solvent. So this is the technique, that is ascending chromatographic technique. We have descending chromatographic technique as well in the paper chromatography. So here is a paper as a supporting material. On that the water molecule is absorbed, which is acting as a liquid mobile phase. Descending meaning, so this ascending chromatography is working under the influence of capillary action. Descending chromatography works under the influence of gravity. So here the development of the paper occurs due to the solvent travels downward on the paper. You can see here the solvent is traveling downward on the paper. This meaning we have the solvent reservoir on the top of the beaker. If you see, this is the beaker and we have here developing solvent, or I can say mobile phase. The solvent reservoir is at the top. The movement of the solvent is assisted by the gravity besides capillary action here. So besides capillary action, the gravity is assisted to develop or to the component mixture is being separated. So we have ascending and descending mode. Here the solvent first travels upwards and then downwards on the paper. So that is ascending and descending mode of the paper chromatography. We have fourth one as well, that is radial mode. Here the solvent moves from the center. You can see here a radial mode, that is a midpoint. We have a solvent here reservoir, and this solvent, how this solvent reservoir comes, so this is connected to the solvent reservoir through the wick. So this wick is supplying the solvent or the mobile phase just by continuous absorption or continuous flow of the solvent through this wick, and through the wick the solvent comes to the center and gets redistributed on the paper, that is circular paper. Well, So what happens after that? Here the solvent moves from the center at the midpoint towards the periphery of the circular chromatographic paper. The entire system is kept in the covered petri dish, you can see here. So this covered petri dish containing the circular chromatographic paper, and this is connected through the wick where the solvent reservoir is at the bottom. The entire system is kept in a petri dish for the development of the chromatogram. You can see here is the side view. The wick at the center of the paper dips into the mobile phase. You can see it is already dipped in the mobile reservoir or mobile phase in the petri dish, by which the solvent drains onto the paper and moves the sample radially. The samples are getting distributed or moved radially to form the sample spots on different compounds as concentric rings. So what we will get is with a different component mixture gets separated, and they are showing the paper chromatic samples are showing upon the separation as a concentric rings. So this is the radial paper chromatographic technique. The fifth one is two-dimensional chromatographic technique. So here we have a system, we have a paper, we just need to put this paper in two ways. For example, first here the chromatogram development occurs in two directions at right angles. In this mode, the sample is spotted to the one corner of the rectangular paper and allowed for the first development. So this is the first development. All the component mixture gets separated, and some of them are, what happens, they are overlapped. After some time, we are just developing this one, just what we are doing in the sending paper chromatographic technique. And the second one, we just need to turn this one towards clockwise 90-degree towards clockwise direction, and again we need to use different solvent to develop it. So what happens again, some of the spots are again moved towards this one, and here it comes. So what happens, then the paper is again immersed in the mobile phase at right angle to the previous development for the second chromatograph development, and here it comes. We have nice separation of the component mixture taking place. As if you compare with the first development, we have some overlaps here, but we don't have any overlaps here in the two-dimensional chromatographic technique. So this is very, very important for the separation of the component mixtures, complex mixtures like biological mixtures. So these are the types of the paper chromatographic techniques. So we'll see some general applications of the paper chromatography. The first one is as a qualitative method. It's a qualitative method for identifying compounds of mixture. It's also used in the identification of the drug and their impurities, and it is used in the forensic studies for sequencing RNA and DNA. It is also acting as analytical technique for the separation of the colored mixtures like mixture of dyes and pigments. And the next application is the chromatographic technique is used for unknown organic and inorganic compound separation. Also used for the identification of various biomolecules from the complex mixtures. It is inexpensive method and rapid method for the separation and the identification of the complex mixtures. So this is all about the paper chromatography. So here the brief account on the paper chromatography is basic principle and how it is going to work, how we are going to calculate the RF values, that is retention factor values, and then where this retention factor values is used, or the importance of the retention factor. Next comes the classification of the paper chromatographic technique, and then the applications of the general applications of the paper chromatographic technique. So this is today's discussion. If you have any doubt regarding today's discussion, please comment in the comment box. We will discuss further. So thank you.